Okay, now we're going to take a look at some practical application. We're going to start with the shoulder complex. And in this case, we have a frozen shoulder in our patient. And we will see how we can treat frozen shoulder with cryoultrasound. Of course, we assume that frozen shoulder is a chronic pathology. So we are in a chronic stage of the pathology. And so we will set, as we said before, we set the modality of the ultrasound. We can set it continuous emission, because we want to move the headpiece while we're walking. So it's okay to set the continuous. We will set the cryotherapy. As we spoke before, the cryotherapy in this case, for a chronic case, can go from 0 to 2, even below the level of 0. In this case, maybe we will set temperature between 0 and 2 degrees. So let's say 1 degree. So we stay in the middle. Of course, you can change all these parameters by your experience with the patient. And then time, as we said before, the time, we usually stay between 10 and 15 minutes. So in this case, we add always 2 minutes to allow the device to reach the set temperature. So I go to 17 minutes, and it's okay. Last thing we want to set is the power. So as we said, the ultrasound can go from 0 to 3 watts per centimeter square. It depends on a lot of factors, on the deep, how deep you want to go with the ultrasound, on the patient. With the cryotherapy also, the thickness of the skin of the patient. So you have to assess the patient, of course. You have to assess, you have to consider all these parameters, also the age of the patient, and then you decide these parameters. We give you a little advice. Of course, you can change it based on your experience. In this case, I would set the maximum of the power, 3 watts per centimeter square. This is because I have a good temperature. I set 1 degree, so the cold, the ice, will protect my patient from the 3 watts per centimeter square, and I can always lower it down a little bit if I have to. Okay, so before starting, this is of course, the headpiece that we said before. We use cryoultrasound with the conductive cream. Why don't we use the gel, the water gel, like an ultrasound, a normal ultrasound? Because the water gel tends to freeze, because it has a water composition, and I will show you. So this is a normal water gel that you usually use with ultrasound. We use this with the normal ultrasound, but it's composed mainly by water. It is a water solution. So it will freeze when you set the temperature around the 0 degrees or below. And you will not use it, because if you have a long application, let's say 15 to 17, like in this case, 17 minutes, you will freeze the gel. It will be a good discomfort for the patient, and you will not be able to drag properly the headpiece, of course. So we use this cream. This doesn't contain paraffin, so it's also a very direct transfer of the temperature that you're setting. Is conductive, so your cryotherapy, the cryotherapy that you're setting, really goes into and deep into the patient. We want to have approximately 1 millimeter of cream between the headpiece and the part that we're treating, and we can start. Okay, so as I said here, as I told before, we have to put the power down, and then we start. You hear the beep, so the therapy starts. I set it at maximum, 3 watts per centimeter square, 17 minutes, 1 degrees. I can use the shaft, as I said before, or I can place it on my shoulder. In this case, the patient is high because he's sitting on the bed, so I will place it on my shoulder. It's a bit more comfortable. Of course, you can find your own solution. When the patient is lying, maybe it's better to use the shaft. And in this case, the patient is sitting, maybe it's a little bit more comfortable. So you can apply on the applicator and on the patient as well. If it's not enough, of course, you can add directly on the patient. The important thing is that you're moving. So in this case, you will set the headpiece in this way. It's really light. In this way, you really don't make any effort. In the application of the therapy, you have to make these small circle movements and very slow, because you want to penetrate. Okay, so we started in this case with the cream applied on the shoulder. Make sure there's a good contact between the headpiece and the skin of the patient. Do you feel the ultrasound a little bit?
Yes.
Yeah, too much? Okay. So if the patient is feeling too much the ultrasound, the power, because we set really high, we can lower it down a little bit. So just by turning, and we can go to 2.5, 2.6 watts per centimeter square. Is it working? It's okay now? Okay?
Yes.
Okay. So always check the patient, both for the ultrasound and the cryotherapy. So you want to check for the intensity and for the temperature, of course. Always have the feedback of the patient. Now he's feeling that the temperature is going down. And of course, as you know, for a frozen shoulder, we have to treat all the joint capsule. So we go in this part of the shoulder, up, and then backwards. The important thing is always with these small circle movements, very, very slow. We're not rushing. The temperature now is really, really good. It's 1 degree, as I said, so it's already the temperature I set, and I can feel it very cold. And this is my treatment.